I don't know what today has been like for you, but I have a feeling that if you're watching this, you're probably someone who looks like you have it together. That's what people see. And what they don't see are the same struggles, doubts, and fears that everyone else has. I'm talking to the people who are afraid to admit they're struggling, not because they don't care, but because they're scared of losing what they've built. Maybe it's your marriage. Maybe it's a reputation, your place in the church, your sense of being the strong one. Maybe it's all of them or some of them. And quietly, the very thing they're protecting is being damaged by what they're hiding. I've learned something over the years in recovery and in my faith walk. When you start being honest like this, some people will run from you. And at first, it feels like rejection. But I don't think they're running because they look down on you. I think they're running because they're scared you might see them struggling with the same things and they don't know how to handle it. And it's like a mirror when you reveal it. They're not running from you, they're running from themselves. And what I've also learned is that there's a whole other group of people who don't run. They're the people that move closer. They sit with you. They walk with you. That's usually how you know you're finally telling the truth. A lot of what keeps us stuck is denial. And that's the hard part about denial, is that we rarely know we're doing it. Now, I've spent years convincing myself I wasn't capable of things I later realized I could do, and oftentimes, in a fraction of the time I spent defeating myself. I've watched myself sabotage opportunities just to prove the lie true. I didn't intentionally do it, but I did do it. It's like, see, I knew I couldn't do it. I was convinced. And if you're convinced, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. The truth is, no matter how well we convince ourselves on the surface, our subconscious, it knows what's real. And that creates anxiety and stress and agony. That disconnect creates grief. It's self-destructive patterns. And for most of my life, over 50 years, I hated myself. Not because I was honest about my bad, but because I tried to hide it. And people who tried to hide that, they don't like themselves. I know that so well. What changed wasn't learning to look better. It was learning to show the bad and work through it. That's where freedom started. Now, I've noticed something looking back on my life. God was far less interested in fixing my circumstances than he was in what I believed about myself while I was in them. After my third divorce, I was financially ruined. I had a failed business, no credit. I was living with friends. I assumed I couldn't even get approved for a place to live, so why should I even try? Someone encouraged me to apply anyways. They knew how the system worked, and they also knew that I would probably get approved. I was certain I'd be turned down, and surprisingly, I wasn't. I was accepted. Nothing about me changed overnight. That belief was just wrong. And I've seen that pattern repeat over and over. When I stop trusting God, something else quietly takes his place. Control, fear, image, self-reliance. When I stop praying, when I stop connecting, then things go sideways. And those things become false gods without us even noticing. It can happen to anyone, it can happen to the most devoted Christian. So if I were sitting with you right now, I wouldn't try to fix anything. I wouldn't tell you what to do. I wouldn't rush you into action. I'd sit with you and I'd just listen. That's what I do when I sit with people. I listen. And if I could feel your pain, acknowledge it and let you know that I understand that. I can feel that. That wrenches in the gut. And if I couldn't, I'd be honest about that too. And I'd still stay. I'd say, you know what? I know this is difficult for you, but I don't have that experience. Because what I've learned is that when people are given space like that, they often come back with their own clarity. And that is so true. Not because someone fixed them, but because they were finally allowed to be honest. They begin to see it in themselves as they confessed it to somebody else. And if there's a first step here, it's probably smaller than you think. Maybe it's just asking yourself what options you actually have. Maybe it's admitting what you're afraid of losing. And maybe it's telling God the truth about how you really feel, even though you already know He knows it. You still have to confess it before Him. And before you clean anything up, I want you to know this. God will not reject you. It's usually our beliefs that push Him away, not Him pushing us out. And I know it feels like something else, but the truth is, He doesn't reject you. And I want you to hear this clearly. I'm with you, and I do care about you, and I'm willing to sit with you. But this is your walk, not mine. And I've learned that when you walk toward God, even when the path looks nothing like what you wanted, what you receive is often far better than anything you could have planned. That's what happens. It happens all the time. And you get peace, joy, and serenity. And that's where I'm at today. And it's one day better.